Hey everyone, this is Thomas with Bent Woodring Supplies again, and I'm back with a new video. Today we're making this Titanium Awareness Inlay band. The materials we're using are our ring blank, OP52, crushed opal, and purple acrylic paint. First things first, we have to paint the background of our inlay space. In this case, I'm just going to make a mess of things by dabbing the paintbrush directly into the space. It's enough to get the paint everywhere, and I'll clean it all up with a paper towel afterward. From there, I'll dry it with a heat gun, and then apply my second coat. Our main goal here is just to make sure we get good coverage and that the paint is even. Now, as we move to the actual inlay, I want to go ahead and point out something I feel is incredibly important. When you're working with our awareness ring blanks or other similar ring blanks, you're dealing with a very small inlay space. That means your only real option, if you want a professional, long-lasting ring, is to inlay your material intentionally below the surface of the ring right from the start. Here's why that matters. If your material ends up flush or proud, you won't be able to apply a true finish coat. You'll be polishing raw inlay directly next to raw metal, and that's not just inconsistent, it's a structural weak point. Over time, oils and moisture will work their way in, tiny gaps form due to the difference in expansion and contraction between the inlay material, the ring blank, and your adhesive. Eventually you'll see separation, discoloration, and even full material failure. So we're doing it right from the beginning. In this ring, we're going to use fine particles and gently tap them into place. Keep the material recessed within the inlay space. Lock it in with thin CA, and then fill the rest of the space with CA. This gives us a clean surface to flood coat and ensures that the final finish sits flush with the outer wall of the ring after sanding and polishing, delivering a smooth, sealed, professional-grade ring that actually lasts. So as you've seen, I'm using OP52 crushed opal that I've crushed further into a fine grade. I used our stone sifters to collect the size that I like for small inlays like this. I'm filling the entire inlay space with the material, and then I'm pressing it in and tapping the ring to let it settle and fill in all the space within. I'm using this finely pointed tool, and I think it's half of a set of tweezers, to adjust the material manually and to remove any material on the top so that I get the depth I'm after. Once I'm satisfied with that, I add a drop of thin CA. I'm using mercury thin, and that lets it soak into every nook and cranny. Then I'll pull away the excess liquid with the corner of a paper towel and use some activator to cure the CA. This is a great time to inspect the inlay to make sure nothing is protruding above where you want it. You can use a small pointed tool to break off anything that's too high. Just be careful that you don't scar the outside of the ring. And since mine is looking just fine, I'm going to go ahead and add my mercury thin flex CA as the rest of my finish application, and then we're off to the lathe for sanding and polishing. When sanding a smaller inlay like this down, I'm trying to focus on a light touch and keeping that sandpaper moving. We'll move through the grits starting at 120 and stopping at 400 grit. I want to make sure I only remove enough of the material so that it's flush with the rest of the ring, and then I'll go just a touch further to make sure the ring itself is ready to receive a polish. From here I would usually use Zona paper, but I wanted to show you guys how I go about using our 10-step diamond polishing paste. It's super simple and has the same general process, but for this we're using a soft paper towel. I like the brand called Viva. I'll add a small dab of the polishing paste on the folded paper towel and just work it on a medium lathe speed. Don't use a lot of pressure, just keep it moving and then use clean parts of the same paper towel to clean it off. Move through all the steps and you should have a nicely polished ring. So we've just wrapped up a few steps in our diamond polishing paste, and you can see here that I'm doing an inspection and I've noticed that there's a void in the CA. So we're going to go ahead and repair that now. I should have checked earlier, but it's just so small that I missed it. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to take our thin flex after I've cleaned the top of this to make sure there's no oils from the diamond polishing paste, and then I'm just going to add a drop of the CA to the top. Pull away any excess material, make sure that the void is filled with my little tool there, and we'll throw some activator on, and then we should just be able to go right back to sanding it down and finishing the ring up. Now that we're back in business, I'm going to use 400 grit sandpaper to gently just take that knob off the top of the ring that was left by the CA, and then we're going to restart our diamond polishing paste starting at step 1, and I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit to get us through this since we already talked about it, but we're going to go through steps 1 through 10 of our diamond polishing paste, and that's going to go ahead and wrap up the polish on this ring and it will be done. I'd like to go ahead and thank everyone for watching, as well as your support. The content we're making wouldn't be possible without you. Finally, if you'd like to join our community of ring makers and learn how to make rings yourself, visit us at bentwoodringsupplies.com. If you're more interested in this ring or the others we make to wear as a finished piece, please visit us at formandforgedesigns.com. All links below.